I was so scared. Sweet, merciful gumdrops. Mother of Paisley. That was the thing. So, Nintendo just did their Nintendo Direct for E3 2021, and let's talk about it because it was a bit of an eventful show, for myself at least. And I'm sorry, I have been making more of an effort to put my face in the videos, but in this case, the E3 stuff, it's gotta go out, so yeah, putting the video, it just adds a lot to the production time, and I wanted to get this stuff to you while it's all fresh. So here you go. I got my little list here, and let's talk about that Nintendo Direct. It started with an announcement trailer for Kazuya from Tekken, and didn't do anything for me. I even said this in the reaction, like my main problem with this wasn't that it was a character I don't really care about, it's just that the buildup of like the idea of some sort of person, entity, throwing a dead Ganondorf into some lava, it really just set it up. I really didn't know who it could be. It was a lot like the Sephiroth thing. It's like, who could be that powerful? But it ended up being him. It was still a funny little reveal, and I don't know, they didn't reveal 2. A lot of people thought they would reveal the final 2. This one, I think there's definitely going to be some fans of or plenty of fans. You know, he's a very, again, I don't really know why I didn't hear more people predict this. You know, Tekken's been around for a super long time, and he's a notable fighting character. He never really came up in conversation, and yet he was obvious. That's why it's kind of the perfect Smash Fighter reveal. It's not gonna have a massive reach, you know, it's not a Banjo, it's not a whatever, and that's fine. They don't all need to be giant, huge, crazy ones. But if there's only one fighter left to reveal, that really does put a lot of pressure on them to impress us with that one, whereas a lot of people thought, you know, in the Arlocast recently, they were saying that they might do the same thing they did with Banjo and Hero, where like both, so that people in the West and people in Japan both kind of get something. Makes sense, but we'll see. That's a whole discussion for another day. I did just, you know what? Sorry to interrupt this for 1 second. Arlocast, I just mentioned that. I just launched a podcast, a real one, a weekly podcast. Probably gonna be Mondays. We did the first episode. It was a pre-E3 discussion, so you know, some stuff in there it's not as relevant anymore because now we have the E3 Direct or whatever. But I'm super proud of it, and it's a lot of fun. So if you wanted to see a podcast by us, go check it out. It's on YouTube and Spotify, and it's gonna be on other stuff soon. Link in the description, whatever. Okay, moving on. We had a reveal for Mario Party Superstars. I was wrong. I did not think there would be a Mario Party. I mean, just bringing online to the other one, I get the idea of it being like a test to see if the online works in the new one, but I just thought there'd be more space between them. If you're gonna release those two things so close to it, like I don't understand why. Why wouldn't they want online play to be like the selling point for the new one, especially because so many people bought the original? It might be hard to pull them away from that, but if you say, hey, this new one has online, just from like the company's perspective, say the new one has online, if anything is gonna get people to buy a second Mario Party, it would be that, right? But no, there it is, there you go, and apparently it's Superstars, so it's kind of funny. Didn't they basically do this, the what was it called, the Top 100 or something on the 3DS? It was just like the best mini games. This just feels like that again. I don't know if I'm missing something. It just seems to be stuff from previous Mario parties. I don't really know, but that's cool though. I hope that ends up being a cool fan favorite and delivering a lot of cool stuff. And they talked about the online, so there you go. There's gonna be cool online, including the ability to like pause while you're playing and then return to it later. I like that a lot. So that was a solid reveal right there. And look at that, we already got a Smash reveal, I already got a Mario Party reveal, and then they did a thing. They did a thing here. They did a thing. They did a real big thing. It's a new 2D Metroid. It's a new 2D Metroid on Switch. It's Metroid 5. It's Metroid Dread. It's a big thing. It's a really big thing. And I will definitely be talking about this at length in a separate video. Of course, you probably expected that. But suffice it to say, it was a really big deal. And I know not every announcement is going to appeal to everyone. And the Metroid fan base is not massive. Yet, it's gonna happen. But at least for me, it was I mean, that right there, you know, especially like not even halfway through the Direct, and a thing like that, the rest of it's gravy. The rest of it could be whatever. You're already gonna be like, that was the Direct with the one big massive thing. And I really, even though it doesn't have that big of an audience, I do think that one really big crowd pleaser, even if it doesn't reach everybody, the people that it does reach, if they're at least a sizable audience and it's like a really big deal for them, I'd say that still elevates the Direct. I don't know, it's different in every case. But that was a big deal. That was, oh gosh, that was fun. No, whole other video. Gotta move on though, lot to get through. Then we got WarioWare. Apparently the whole thing with the survey, that was Nintendo's way of kind of revealing it. We got WarioWare Get It Together. It's an interesting idea. This one seems to be, because I mean, you know, I was wondering on the Switch, is it just going to be like the basic Joy-Con motion control thing? But it's kind of like they've done that before. You know, they've done a lot of ideas and the touch controlled ideas and all that stuff. So now apparently it just looks like you sort of control the character. I assume standard controls. It looks just like somebody navigating around the screen with a control stick. It seems to sort of incorporate platforming elements into it. Like you're controlling the character and they each have different moves and you're trying to like solve little games using their moves. And it seems that there's, you know, each character is going to solve a specific thing in a different way. That's interesting. I think it's an interesting take on it. It would have been cool. I think a lot of people probably agree it would have been cool to get something more substantial, you know, a Wario Land or something. I know Kane has been going on and on about how great it would be to get another Wario Land. WarioWare is definitely one of those just inevitable kind of things. I'm not really into it. It's not my thing, like mini games, micro games, whatever. It's just, I don't know. It doesn't excite me. And because it's so inevitable, it's just kind of like, okay, it's that one. And it's a little bit like Mario Party. They're fun, but it is just like, okay, it's a Mario Party. It's a smaller title. You know what I mean? Well, Mario Party ended up selling so well. It ended up not really being a small title, but you know what I'm saying. But that's still a brand new announcement. There is a crowd of people, a decent crowd of people who are super into WarioWare. So like, there you go. This Direct has already gotten a pretty good amount of new announcements. And then one thing this Direct had was a lot in the way of like collections and remakes and remasters and stuff, especially from third party. I guess I'll talk about third party just for a second. Pretty good. There were no like big bombshell, you know, it wasn't like, oh, GTA 5 or just like something that everybody's been waiting for, but there's like a lot of really solid stuff. I mean, I guess like Super Monkey Ball. I've heard a lot of people really hoping to get something good there, and they weren't super satisfied with the other like remaster that came out. So this is like a big old collection of a bunch of games. That's awesome. That's completely awesome. All these different collections, Life is Strange and Danganronpa, and then one that really surprised me was Maiden of Blackwater, the Fatal Frame. Should have written it down. That's a pretty big deal. Fatal Frame is a series that Nintendo owns or co-owns. I'm not 100% sure how much of it they own, but I was under the impression that they just straight up own it. And so when asked, like the makers of Fatal Frame have said, like, it's up to Nintendo if we get more stuff. And like, here you go. There's a port of the one that was on the Wii U coming to Switch. And interestingly enough, it's also coming to all other platforms, not just Nintendo. Which is especially weird. It could just be that Nintendo is allowing them to license it to the other systems. Does that mean they would still have to go exclusively through Nintendo if there was a new one? I don't really know, but like, that's cool. It's cool that they are doing something with Fatal Frame. That in itself is just like, that is a notable thing. And then, this is awesome. Nintendo announced Advance Wars Reboot Camp, which is, see, and this is great. This is more along the lines of what I want from Nintendo for like their remakes and stuff. They didn't just take the first one, just the first one, when everyone wants like a bunch, and then remake that and charge a bunch of money for it or whatever. I know I've been complaining about that a lot recently. No, it's the first two at the very least. I don't know how much it'll be, but they took the first two Advance Wars games, completely remade them, and there you go. Like, that's great. They have been really neglecting poor little Advance Wars. And other companies, other indie companies, you know, Wargroove and Tiny Metal, they've been doing their job for them. They've been taking up the torch and being like, fine, if you don't do anything with Advance Wars, we'll do it ourselves. So it's really awesome to see Nintendo just getting back on that. I almost wonder, like, it's been a few years, I almost wonder if they saw those other games and went, you know what, we're really dropping the ball here. Like, we own this. Let's do something with it. So that's really cool. I've seen mixed reception on the art style. I don't have like a big, I mean, I played like the DS one, it's really cool. I don't have a big investment in the series, though, so I don't really know how it should look. I mean, I have criticized the toy-like style in the past. I certainly criticized it for Link's Awakening, so it's almost like... It's almost too easy, so I can definitely see the criticism there. It's too easy. Make it like kind of little and cartoony, and then make it shiny so it kind of looks like toys. There's just so many other styles you could go with that are so much more charming and fun and interesting and unique. You know what I mean? This does not look unique. It does look nice, though, so I am at least happy that they're remaking those games. They're doing something with Advance Wars. Do more stuff with Advance Wars, please. And I was really happy to see that, too. I was happy to see these remakes because there were so many other collections and ports and things from other companies. I started to get a little grumpy. It's just like, come on, Nintendo, why is everyone else doing this? And you don't have anything. You know, I always want more old content made new again, so very cool. Then we got our first taste of the Age of Calamity DLC. Looks pretty cool. This, I think the second batch coming later this year is definitely going to be the bigger one, at least what it seems like. This one, it doesn't have any extra story content or anything, but it does have a new character. They revealed a guardian, just a big old guardian you could just be, which is awesome because that is something I was definitely hoping for in the base game and did not get. And so that's awesome. And then like new bad guys, there's like stronger bad guys. You got the Moblin, like there's like throwing the bomb barrels and stuff. And then Master Cycle, except not Link. Zelda gets to ride the Master Cycle, which is genius. I wonder if they're going to fit it probably not. I mean, are they going to fit it canonically into the DLC, how they go and find it? Because these are completely different circumstances. This is 100 years ago or whatever, so I don't really know how that's gonna go. Is that just a brand new moveset? Probably. That's really cool. Link's got a new, because he's got like 3 main weapons in the base game, and now he's got these weird like guardian foot nunchucks or something. It looks like a new moveset for that too. So lots of cool new stuff. And the cool thing about that is releasing in 3 days. That is a radical. Very excited to see what comes later. So then we went into, so this was like the Zelda part was kind of like the last chunk of the show. And Zelda Game & Watch. All right, it's fine. It's, you know, it's kind of like the Mario one. It's not my thing. It's kind of fun. It's kind of cute. But it's not my thing. It's nice that it's better than nothing, but like that's cool. Then we got to it. Then we got to the other big highlight of the show, a taste of Breath of the Wild 2. Yes, I am sorry. I will also be doing a bigger, fuller video on Breath of the Wild 2 after this. But for now, I will say it's a good way to close off. I do wish there was a little bit more. As a show closer, it didn't really pop. It didn't really, you know what I mean? Like, it was satisfying as another taste of Breath of the Wild 2. We actually got to see some like gameplay and real concepts, which is awesome. I mean, if anything, it's basically the reveal. The other one was just a cinematic. This one shows us something tangible, but just as a way to cap off the show. It really could, just a little extra oomph, or just something else right at the end of the trailer to make us like, or the title, or something along those lines. We did get a date, or a year, 2022. Sigh. I don't know. I was like 100% sure it would come. Well, I was 99 point whatever % sure it would come out last year. Then I thought, okay, well, if not last year, then definitely 2021. I mean, there's no chance it won't. And then now it still hasn't, which is so weird. I don't know. I mean, even considering the circumstances, the fact that it's a direct sequel and it should take less time than the original, but it's taking just as much time, I don't really know. But oh well, it is what it is. It was very cool, though. There was some, oh, yeah. No, I'll talk about it more later. Oh, look at this. Oh, it's good. So let's talk about the show overall. As I usually like to do, I like to look at how good of a direct I thought it was overall. And it's not just about what I want, it's entertainment value. It's number of things that appeal to the most people, you know what I mean? If I get the exact thing that I want, but the exact thing I want is super duper niche, I'm not gonna say that makes it necessarily a great show, like for everybody. And everybody's gonna have a different idea of how satisfying or entertaining it was or whatever, but here's my take right here. I thought it was great. I thought it was really good. Okay, really super good overall. Again, Metroid. Anytime you get that one big crowd-pleasing, or at least some crowd-pleasing freak-out announcement, I mean, even just in Nintendo's history and their legacy, Metroid 5 is a big deal. That's a really, really huge deal for them. That's a major entry in a franchise they haven't continued in a super long time. And then between that and like Breath of the Wild 2 extra stuff, very cool. It definitely, like, it had a chance to really blow everyone away. Like, you know, there's this idea like, oh, the rest of E3 wasn't super great. Is Nintendo gonna save it? I want to say it's still at least a little bit debatable. They I mean, they probably did have the best show out of everybody. Microsoft is the only one even possibly contending, but I'm not really sure. I haven't dug deep enough into theirs yet. But it was close to being undoubtedly the best, to being just a mind-blowing show. I think the Kazuya, if that had been another big character, then that would have pushed it over the edge into just incredible territory. And then, like, if Breath of the Wild 2 maybe had a little more, like I said, a little more pop to it, that might have done it too. It was very close to being really good, because a lot of the other stuff kind of stretched out. But I mean, that's one thing that's so strong about it, is that it appealed to so many different people. It's kind of like they said in the Direct, we want something for everybody. And you got some Zelda, you got some Smash, you got Metroid, you got Mario Party, you got Advance Wars, you got WarioWare. So it's like, even if a lot of these are fairly small, it still hits such a wide audience. And I would say the pacing was really good. I'd say it stayed entertaining the whole time and never really dwelled on one thing for too long. So even if it was just a hair away from being like, oh my gosh, that's one of the best directs that's ever happened in the entire world, it was still really good. It was still really solid, super entertaining. I was right about a couple things. I was right about no Splatoon. We just kind of didn't get any. And I was right about Metroid. That's the great thing. I had an inkling. I said it in my predictions video or my pre-show video. I'm so glad I did. I had a feeling. I had the same Metroid feeling I had in 2017. I had it again, and I was right. Apparently, my Metroid sense is very accurate. At least it has been so far. I completely called it. I just sensed it in my tummy, and I was right. So that was great. And no DK, though. No DK. It doesn't mean that it's not real. It still could be real completely in the way that it, you know, made by the Odyssey team, yada, yada, yada. But if it is, they didn't announce it here, which means it's not coming out this year, which is a little disappointing. It would have been cool to see. But it ain't there. One thing I will say that was disappointing about this Direct. One thing. The best reveals are the ones that take you off guard, where at first you don't know what you're looking at. That's my thing. Even if, like, you suspected at first, like, just going straight into it, the cold open, just doing it, those are the best. Those are always the best. And they had this weird thing in this Direct specifically where they wanted to announce everything before they showed it, which, like, didn't hurt it that much, but it kind of hurt it a little bit. Mario Party, you know, they're like, hey, it's the next Mario Party, and then they show you not as bad. Okay, it's Mario Party. It's, you know, it's not as big of a thing. Okay, that's fine. I want to say they did the same thing with Advance Wars. I'm not 100% sure. But then, like, Zelda, okay, here it is. The Breath of the Wild 2, you know, the sequel to Breath of the Wild. Like, just show us. Just drop it on us. You don't have to tell us what we're about to see. You know what I mean? It kills some of the mood. But then the worst one, I'm trying not to be too upset about it because obviously I got something cool. But, like, if you're going to reveal Metroid 5, Metroid Dread, like, don't just tell us. He literally just said, but, you know, we're working on Metroid Prime 4 and we can't show you, but we are working on a new Metroid game. Here it is. Like, just show us. Just start the trailer with some long, you know, the same corridor or whatever they were in. Just show it. And then, boom, Samus drops into the picture. How cool would that have been? That would have been even better. It was great. Don't get me wrong. Not trying to complain too much, but it would have been so much better if we just like, what is this? I don't know. It kind of looks sci-fi. Oh my gosh, it's Samus. It would have, I mean, it was already like a really great sequence of surprises. But it would have been just one more. Anyway, that's a small nitpick. I just hope they don't do that again. Where just everything is just, they just say, here's this. Here's the next this thing. Just don't do that. There's no reason. All right, well, that's it. I gotta stop somewhere. Yeah, it was good. I liked it. It was cool. I got Metroid, so what else can I say? It was pretty great. But yeah, lots more E3 related content coming soon. Just bear with us as we try to get it all done. Let me know what you thought about the Direct down in the comments. Just talk about Metroid. I mean, you talk about whatever you want from the Direct, but I also want to see Just a lot of Metroid talk, because it's so cool, and I'm so excited. Oh, and again, Arlocast, that's a thing. We'll definitely be talking about all this and more with some mysterious special guests. It's gonna be someone cool. Last time it was Aunt Dude and She Says. Who's it gonna be this time? Who knows? Only I know, and the guests know, and my producer knows. And possibly some close friends know. Whatever, but you don't know, so go find Arlocast and subscribe to it or follow, or I don't know what you do with a podcast. Just whatever, listen to it when it comes out on Monday. Thank you, I love you, goodbye!